Hello, I'm Juliana. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome. Today I'm going to try to talk about Christmas, A Social History by Mark Connelly. So, as you can see, this is a second-hand book that I bought. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago now. I really can't remember, but I think it was. Well, doesn't matter. The thing is, I started reading this book last year and I stopped because of two reasons. I got in a reading slump, and then I wasn't really vibing with this book. Sorry, I'm posting this video on Christmas Eve, and I'm beginning to say that I wasn't vibing with the book. But the thing is, it was me trying things, and it's not being negative or anything like that, but I have to say it was a real effort for me to get through this book, because this book is very specific on the United Kingdom, and that's not the reason, but it's very specific for the reality of the United Kingdom and Christmas in the United Kingdom. So I can read to you the content. So we have an introduction, we have the Englishness of Christmas, John Bull and the Christmas Pantomime, the Christmas Carol Revival and the English Musical Renaissance, Christmas in the British Empire, the BBC and the broadcasting of English Christmas, cinema and representations of the English Christmas, the English Christmas and the growth of a shopping culture, epilogue, the English Christmas from 1953 to the present day. Conclusion, appendix, notes, bibliography, index. So, I will try to take advantage of this page of contents to talk to you a bit about what you can find in this book in particular. So, I read to you the content, so it speaks for itself. But I think if you are British, you may have somewhat of a more familiarity, or at least more identification with what this book talks about, principally about the Christmas carols and so on, and some curiosities, but really particular for England and the United Kingdom in general. Not that I'm not familiar, because, at least I speak for myself, I drink a lot of the British culture. We studied a bit in school, and a bit, but still, I consume a lot of content from the United Kingdom. But that is not to say that I'm really familiar with all things related to the British culture, specifically regarding Christmas. But well, I will just point out what caught my eye in this list of content and the way the book is structured, for you to have an idea. So the author, on the contrary of this book, Christmas, A History by Judith Flanders, that I read 2 years ago, this book is more my vibe. So it's a more modern book, we have to say that too. So I suppose that has a really impact on me as a reader of today, and at my age at least, and my interests, and what I was looking for in terms of a book about Christmas. So that this really ticked that for me. This one also got there, but it was in a style that wasn't really, I don't know, I think I misplaced my expectations, although the author warns you in his introduction. He says this is not going to be a history about Christmas per se, how it came to be, where all the traditions came from. This book, on the other hand, does that. So they have a difference. And as the subtitle says, a social history regarding the United Kingdom. But well, the author will warn you everything that I'm talking just now to you about in the introduction, and further on when he really starts the book, he will develop his arguments or his research about a certain topic, and then he will write a small conclusion of that little chapter or that little topic. And I really there were times when, for instance, in the content, the Christmas Carol revival, that I didn't care because I don't know all the songs and I don't really ever heard them, so I didn't have the reference to them, and I was just reading and reading and reading. Why can't we get to the conclusion? And when I got to the conclusion, I think I got a recap, and then I was really paying attention, and then I understood what he meant with all the texts that he wrote. You know my feeling? So yeah, as you can see, I tapped this book, so I got something from it. But the main thing that I got really interested in was Christmas in the British Empire. He talks about here certain references, for instance, of South Africa, Christmas in South Africa, Christmas in Australia, New Zealand. So, because why? Well, it was passed through the British Empire or through the British monarchy, principally, the way to do Christmas. And of course, England or the United Kingdom is geographically in the North Hemisphere, and Christmas in the North Hemisphere passes during winter. So that's not the case for the other Commonwealth countries that made part of the British Empire. They are in the summer, so many traditions and many traditions regarding Christmas decorations, Christmas motifs were represented by winter and snow and cold and rain and so on and so forth. That was not the reality of many countries that as well spoke English and belonged to the British Empire. And there's between in the terms of the book, and at the end, well, this is too big. Yeah, this is too big. I'm just going to read to you a little poem that was written by M.R. Boyd's collection of poems, Christmas in South Africa. Hi, and from o'er the sea, 'twas in this fair land of sun and space, and back in eddying waves to that dear place that still is home to me. So back and forth we weave to web of friendship strong at Christmas tide, and gathering loosened strands from far and wide, yet closer bounds achieve. And then there is another poem by Hugh Gunn, provided or included in the Motherland's Greeting for December of 1929 for the United Empire magazine. The poem encompassed the whole empire, stressing the deep familial links that held these disparate places together. From Scapa Flow to Plymouth Hoe, from Hamlet, hill, and vale, our kin or see where they be, we all with greetings hail. Where sleigh bell rings and steel blades sing, in the sharp and crisp-like air, to the Carib Isles with their sunny smiles, the erstwhile pirate's lair, to the springbook's haunt 'neath the coppice gaunt, and the sun-kissed parched karoo, to the Emir's land with shimmering strand, the home of the kangaroo, to our antipodes in the southern seas, and the gorgeous Orient, to mid-Africa's heat, where leviathans meet, and nature her childhood spent, to many a spot where is cast a lot of a far-off lone pioneer. This the pioneer lot, but he is not forgot in our message of good cheer. So, I find these poems really cute, really beautiful. And in the appendix, as you can see, I'm not going to read it because it's too long and I'm not quite a good out loud reader. I pause too many times and you will lose the flow of the poem, so it's not worth the effort. But I'm just going to say the title. It's A Summer Christmas in Australia. So perhaps you can research for it on the internet and you can find it and read it. It's really beautiful. I know I'm not saying too much about this book because as I think I'm passing it to you, although I kept some things about this, I already have read this one, and I think this one is really more didactic and have new maybe research about the subject, new light about some certain subjects that this book is a bit behind, because this book was published or first published in 1999 when this book is from 2017. So there's a really big gap in here. But if you are interested particularly in the contents that I read to you and in a perspective about the reality of Christmas or the evolution of Christmas, particularly in the United Kingdom and also the Commonwealth, I think this book will really be of interest to you. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite what I was looking for, but why did I read this book? You are maybe asking. Well, yeah, you are right. I read this book because it was a reference of Judith Flanders, the author of this one, that she based some things that she wrote in here of this one here. So I thought, well, let me check it out. So that's what I did. I'm not regretful. I'm not going to get rid of this book. That's not my thing. But I'm just saying that it's really, really specific, and it wasn't really what I, Juliana, was looking for. So I have other ones there to read, so maybe next year I will come to you with a more exciting review. But although this one wasn't really a review, it was more like a getting out of my chest, I suppose. But yes, so if you want to have a more fulfilled history on Christmas, I really advise this one for now. Maybe in the future I will have another book or other books to recommend. This one right here was really special to me and I really enjoyed it. And if you have any recommendation to me of a book perhaps more modern that has research about the history of Christmas that you want to recommend to me, please do so. I'm really curious about this subject, as you can understand by now. But yeah, that's it for me. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you are passing the holidays with your family. I certainly am, and I'm really happy right now at this time of year. And this year went really well for me, so I'm really happy. And I hope you are too, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!